Hi guys, it's Lee Russell here from How to Trick a Fish. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make the Snooded Dropshot the way that I like to do it. It's probably different to the way sometimes you've seen it. I like to make a loop and then cut the loop. The request came in from somebody on my last YouTube video, which I released yesterday, so I thought I'd jump and do this. So things you're going to need if you wanted to tie along with me, you're going to need a spool of line. You can either tie this directly to your main line if you're using sort of a fluoro main line, or you can tie it into your leader, or you can actually tie these separately, keep them in a little rig wallet like I do, and then attach them to your lure clip or whatever you're using. So we've got some fluoro line here, got a drop shot sinker, a small hook, and I've got some braid scissors just to make things a bit easier and tidier while to tie it up. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a trace, so I've got sort of about 2 feet there, cut it off. If you want to tie this for a rig wallet so you can tie it on, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little loop that I can actually tie my leader to, or my lure clip, and what I do is I just turn 5 or 6 turns, and then I literally tie a little granny knot in that line so that the loop pulls through your holes. And you've got like a little loop there that you can actually tie your line to or put your lure clip to. I'll tie that off. We've got a little bit of a tag end there, so we'll cut that off. Obviously you're doing that on the bank, make sure you put your tag end somewhere safe. So I've got a couple of feet of line there. I'm going to attach my drop shot straight away just to make it easier to actually handle. So the drop shot goes on, if you haven't used a drop shot before, it goes in, and then it's obviously got like a little bit that you pinch the line onto. So there we go, so I've got the drop shot on the line. And then what I do, depending on the type of lure, type of rig I'm making, so I've got two sort of Snooded drop shots I do. One, I have my line sort of quite far away from the drop shot, so I've got about 2 inches, and then the line actually sits behind. And I use this mainly for gurnard or flatfish, or I've used it for weaverfish as well really successfully during the big LRF Winter League. And the idea is that when you're pulling this along like quite quickly, your lure is going to stay about 2 inches off the bottom, so sort of perfect height for fish to come up and grab. Obviously, if you wanted to fish species that are slightly higher in the water, you put your loop a lot higher, put your snood a lot higher in the thing. So if you're fishing down a wall, for example, you're on a Snooded drop shot, you'd make your loop a lot higher up. So I do it about halfway anyway. So what I do, just to show you, is I bend the line in half, I make a sort of long snood or loop, twist again 3 or 4 times, and I literally just tie it in a knot. So make a loop, pull it through, and those 3 or 4 turns is enough, so it doesn't actually go anywhere. So I've got my drop shot there, my loop, and then my original loop I'm tying my leader to. And then all you do to make your snood is you cut one outside of that loop quite close to your knot, and you've now got your snood. So you can either, depending on the length you want this, you can cut it short 2 or 3 inches if you do like a little worm bait and you want it close to your line, fill the bite, or if you want a nice long one, so if you're moving that along the water. So I'm going to do that about halfway again. So drop shot, line, loop. I'm just going to tie my hook straight to that snood. Now you can use whichever knot you use to tie things on. I use I think it's called a half grinner knot, or a tucked half grinner, whatever they call it, or a tucked half blood knot, is it? I'm not sure actually. So basically just take a little line through the clip, I pinch it, go around 4 or 5 times through the original loop, and then I just tuck it back through then the big loop I've just made, and that secures that knot quite nicely. A little bit of saliva, stop the fluoro burning, and pull it tight. Slide down my fingers, so I've got a nice neat knot there. Again, cut off your tag end, make sure you put it in your pocket or somewhere for the bin later on. Don't leave it on the shoreline. And there we have got Snooded drop shot. Nice and simple. If there's any more rigs or any more ideas you want me to have a go at, please put it in the comments. I really appreciate all the feedback from the video yesterday. Really keen to do some more of these little videos, nice and quick and easy to do. Thanks very much. See you tomorrow.